Hey, thank you for listening to Talking Guns with Joe. I am Joe, and tonight I am joined with Lindsey. How you doing, Lindsey?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am well, and we have a special guest here with us. He is the man, the myth, the legend behind 1911's Mr. Bob Serva.
Oh, thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
He paid me to say that.
Of course I did.
Bob is the owner, the man behind Fusion Firearms.
Yes, sir.
And not only are they the best 1911s on the planet, and I'm not just saying that, he didn't pay me for that, but they're made locally right here in Venice, Florida.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, we moved everything out of New York about 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Welcome to America.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. New York was getting real tough on the gun industry, and most of the gun industry is moving out of New York, if you notice. So Carr's out, and Remington's out for the most part.
I don't blame him. Where'd Remington go?
Louisiana.
Wow. It's hot there, too.
Yeah, yeah. But they got a good deal to go there.
That's, I'm sure.
They're a welcome, gun-friendly state, so...
We like gun-friendly states. The gunshine state here in Florida. So, of course, we're going to be talking about some fusions tonight. We're going to be talking about some upcoming events going on. A couple little things going on in the news, but guess what? We're tired of hearing about all that stuff anyway. I do have to give a shout-out to Publix. That's going to be my new shopping center from now on.
I was there last night. I'm usually there almost every night.
I'm the size of a person that should be there every night.
You don't go to the grocery store.
Okay, on to next.
Well, like the pictures of the steaks I sent you today for the dogs.
Good.
The big dog party last night. That was all
He
came
had
from
a
Publix.
dog party and bought steaks for his dogs.
I shop
And
at
Tyler's
Publix.
dogs. They're the shop dogs. They take care of the shop. They're our security.
I've seen them. They've slobbered on me. They've licked my ankles.
They like licking you for some reason.
Yes, it's because I'm sweet.
Publix has excellent customer service, though.
Yes.
They do.
And
They're
they
awesome.
are
They really are. They've always been awesome.
Good people.
they're good people. We'll leave it at that right there. Just for something for local, we put out there the other day an incident that happened at one of the local high schools here. I think it was Bayshore High School.
Yeah.
Supposedly some idiot kid went to school with a gun. He got caught.
And it was loaded, I believe, wasn't it?
That's what the article said, but the article was a little misleading for the article as well, because they said something about the kids can no longer bring backpacks to school, and next year they will no longer be able to bring backpacks. I thought that was weird. So
At all?
That's what, when you read the article, that's what it stated. So everybody was coming in because we got those new backpack inserts at Aegis, the bulletproof backpack inserts. You can jump on the page. You can actually watch us shooting this thing, and it worked. And we also shot it with a Fusion, I believe.
Nice.
So it was dead on. I mean, there was a little sticker there I had to hit, and there was no sticker left after one shot.
Fusion versus backpack insert.
And
Well.
the backpack insert won.
Good. Well, you hope it does. You hope
Well,
it does.
yeah.
That's what it's there for.
That's what it's intended for.
But anyway, we called the school board, and no, they were not allowed to wear backpacks for the rest of the week, which is apparently an ongoing thing that they've always done the last week of school. And next year, yes, they will be allowed to wear backpacks.
Oh, okay.
They might be see-through ones, but they have backpacks. So for all the people nervous that they can't have their bulletproof stuff in the back of the backpack, yes, you can. Enough of that news.
Yes.
So what are we going to talk about now? Lindsey, what's your favorite gun?
My favorite gun. Fusion.
Fusion.
Oh, come on now. You sure?
Well, come on.
Did he pay you to say that? Because he's sitting right there.
Under the table a little
Under
bit.
the table? Yeah.
Nothing shoots like a Fusion. You got to be honest.
I have to agree with
That's
you.
what it comes down to.
Last
Not
week
only
I
do they
talked
look
about my
pretty-
favorite ones. If Fusion would have been on the top of the list, sorry, Bob. But I'm sure you listened to the show, so you know why it's not on the top of the list.
No problem.
Because I had to sell it.
Oh,
You'll get more. You get
Yes.
more.
Well, you ran out of the
Yes,
reactions.
I know,
The guy
yeah.
wanted it so bad he bought it right off my hip.
Well, the
So.
Freedom Series has been doing extremely well. I
It's-
mean, we, for years we're pretty much, just custom builders.
Let's break it down. First, your custom ones are
Yes,
pretty much
Pros.
one-offs.
Right, one-offs, Pro Series. And again, they're expensive. They're $3,000, $3,500.
But they're worth it.
$4,000. Yeah, there's a lot of handwork in them. There's an awful lot of work into them.
Yeah.
All the higher grade parts, everything is used in them.
And the finish on the black ones is phenomenal.
Exactly. We do, our Black Shield finish, which is a nitromelanite finish, or we're doing ion bond DLCs, so hard chrome, or
You lost me at finish.
Yep. So there's a lot of good finishes out there. but there's probably 3 or 4 primary that we use in the gun industry that just seem to hold up really well, and it just depends on the color and the flavor of the month that the customer wants to make that. But then we realized last couple of years that there's a lot of people that just can't afford a $3,000 Fusion. So one of our biggest goals were to come out with the Freedom Series, and the Freedom Series has been just a overwhelming success to us. I mean, we're not even countrywide other than on the internet right now. Our dealer network only goes through some of the southern states right now, and I mean the Freedoms are just crushing it. We can't make enough of them. So I really thought that within a year we'd have the standard Freedom line pretty much populated, and we'd need some new products to introduce already. So I came out with the Riptide versions, which will be releasing here coming up soon.
I think that's my new favorite one.
Yes, the Riptides really are off of our custom Riptides, which our custom Riptides generally sell for around $3,600, and the Freedom Series Riptides will have most of the attributes of the custom, but at the finishes will be standard black oxide and things like that. Other than it won't be the melanite and things. But,
now, what makes it a Riptide?
Well, the Riptide is a Riptide package, which will be like the top serrations that we put on it, the press check cuts, the special vent cuts on the hood, the dust cover on the front of the slide. Just the overall look of the gun is really hot, sexy. It's a beautiful gun. Again,
yes, I have to agree with you. It's sexy.
It is. It's again, and why a lot of the guns we make anymore, we want to give the buyer a reason to buy it. I mean, everybody's got a closet full of guns. Why do you want that next gun? It's because you want it.
It stands out.
Exactly. And so that's why we really worked on the Riptide hard.
And what frame's on that? Is that a commander size?
Yeah,
officer?
it is a commander. There's the Riptide with the magwell and the Riptide C, which is a carry version, which will have a carry cut mainspring housing. Those are commander size. Okay. And then we will have the Bantam R, which is the Bantam Riptide, which again will be the small guy and a defender package basically with the Riptide attributes on there.
So if you're used to the Colt Defenders, it's about the same size as that.
Yep, exactly. And we really made the guns so they're upgradable. If you look at our website, or you can come to dealers like Joe and they can help you upgrade your gun.
That's Aegis Tactical, exactly. AEGIS Tactical. So plug there.
Where's that located?
Right here in Lakewood Ranch, Florida.
There you go.
And so you can actually buy a base model, and we do it daily. We're upgrading people's guns with chrome finishes, the nitro finishes. I want night sights.
That chrome finish that you brought in, that was awesome.
Yeah. Well, actually, your customer.
Yes.
He's on his third one now. He just ordered.
Yes, his third one. It's once people buy them, it's an addiction. I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, we have guys. Actually, even with our custom guns, it's amazing. I've had some customers that have 12, 13 of them. And some guys would order one every year for their birthday. And they'd want, after a while, I didn't even know what to make for him anymore because we made almost everything I could come up with. He's like, well, just come up with something, Bob, make it look pretty. It's for my birthday.
I'm
like,
sure you can do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, first off, the reaction was my favorite one. That's the 5-inch. It was just a gorgeous gun. Had the nice little cuts in the front of the slide.
Well, we put aggressive cocking serrations on there. That gun, the reaction is really set up for like recreational action shooting, and somebody wants like a general purpose, do it all type gun.
And all your triggers are what, 3.5 pounds?
Well, the 3.5 to 4.5 is where we set them for production on those. We do an action job on each one. We do a reliability job on each one. We send each one with test fire cartridges. There's a nice range bag. You get extra springs, things like that with the kit.
Now, why do you give extra springs?
Well, the recoil springs, we give because it depends on the person's load. And generally in like the 45s, the 10 millimeters, the 40 cals, you don't have too much problem. Some people will generally underspring the gun more than overspring it. But say you get to the 9 millimeter and, you're using loads that are quite light loads. Some of the promotional loads are really light.
Yes. And
you'll see that you'll get people that'll come and say, oh, well, I got ejection problems or I got extraction problems. Well, when you look at it, the gun's not cycling. So you put instead of a 12-pound or a 14-pound spring, you'll go down to a 10 with that load, and boom, all of a sudden, magically, everything's going.
It's working. We got people calling in already. Yeah, your guns are beyond gorgeous.
No, again, that's what we really try to make it appeal. We put nice Coca-Cola grips on it, hardwood, exotic hardwood grips. And we really want to make the guns appeal. So, when I was younger, I've been in the firearms business my whole life, and pretty much even when I was younger, I was always tinkering with guns. I mean, when you talked about, bringing this kid brought a gun to school, well, Bob used to bring a gun to school every day when I was in high school, because my shop teacher used to allow me to bring them in. That's where I learned my first gunsmithing.
Wow.
It's, someday when we got time, we'll do a thing on what it used to be like, and that was in New Jersey. And New Jersey, people think New Jersey's like Beirut.
Well, you went to school a little bit before me.
Yeah, a little bit.
If only that
Couple
teacher
decades.
knew what he was cultivating in you
Exactly.
back in high school.
Exactly.
If only
Yep.
he knew what you would become today.
I didn't get my first gun until I was 21. I just grew up in an area where guns were taboo. You couldn't have one.
Yeah, but I grew up in northern New Jersey, and my uncle's dairy farm bordered the development I lived in, and he had like 900 acres. So, and I was always over there trapping or shooting or going with my buddies. And when I turned 10, I could get my junior license, which you were supposed to be with an adult, but I didn't always hold that.
We won't talk about that live on air. That's incriminating.
But we did a lot of training. We went through all the courses, and it was a lot of fun.
Lindsey, you look like you have something to say here.
I thought I heard the phone ring again.
Somebody's calling again.
No, we're good. But back then it was a different time. I mean, we learned because we went out and hunted. Not too many people hunt anymore.
Times have changed. Places are more populated now, and you just don't. Is the dairy farm still there?
No, it's actually it's been totally perverted. It's been it's an architect's dream right now and my nightmare, to be honest with you.
Well, when we return, let's finish up with that story and talk about, I guess, my first gun and talk more about these 1911s that people don't know about. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to Talking Guns with Joe. I am Joe. Again, I am joined here with Lindsey and the man, the myth, the legend, Bob Serva.
Thank you, sir.
No need for a thank you. We were talking about your guns, what you did back in school.
Yeah,
Was that high school when you were in?
No, this was high school. Yeah,
High school?
I mean, I started
That was a long time ago.
a long time
Okay.
ago. That's when they could still beat you in school. Okay.
I wish I could still do that.
Yeah. you can get your butt whipped still in school, but I learned. I had my first interest in guns. When I was really young, around 10 years old. And I was always tinkering with something. My dad, he was really good with me, and I would, if I wanted, say, reloading equipment, he would, if I saved up half, he would pay the other half.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, so I would mow grass, trim gardens, whatever. It didn't matter to get enough money up. And I can remember, buying a reloading outfit, RCBS reloading outfit, scales, all this stuff. And so my dad was real good about that. And I had and when I got into high school, my shop teacher, Mr. Kish, great guy, excellent.
You can
guy.
remember your shop teacher's name?
Oh yeah.
What did you do last night?
What did I do last night?
You can't remember.
Oh, I watched the hockey game. I watched the Bolts get their butt kicked. Unfortunately, it was sad, but
It happens.
yeah, I know it's the way it goes. But when we were in high school, Mr. Kish, he was big into muzzleloaders, and this guy was really like crazy authentic. I mean, he would actually cut down the trees. He'd bring a slab into school and actually cut it out of a block, let it dry. I mean,
So during school, during class.
yeah. Well, actually, after the kids, we had free periods like you had in high school, and generally you'd have one free period. I had like my junior and senior year, I believe, 3 free periods because was caught up with all my other.
Because you were so smart, you finished everything early.
Other than French. French, I got a 16 on the final. Really,
You're in the guns, French, yeah.
I took it bad. Well, I only went to French class for the girls. That was it.
Yeah, that'll be. Lindsey, did you take French when you were?
I did not take French. I took Spanish.
Yeah.
See?
I did.
Okay. I don't speak Spanish either.
No.
I have a hard enough time with English.
English, I know. So did I, But Mr. Kish, he knew I had, an attraction with firearms. We used to talk all the time, and I really appreciate his craftsmanship. I mean, he would do raised carvings. He would do German silver inlays. I mean, all this stuff. The guy was just amazing. And he had some buddies he would, make these different guns for and with. And what they did is they'd work off old patterns. Like they'd find an old pattern from not just like a Kentucky. It might have been something made at a specific segment of Alabama. And then they would take that same pattern and try to reproduce it. Even all the carvings.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, crazy. The drops on the stocks, everything. Now, I never got that technical when I was, of course, in high school. But he let me first, he said, and he laid the law down to you, I mean, Kish, he was a short little Italian guy, and you didn't tick him off, okay? Because he'd deck you, I mean. And
I know
seen
guys
him do
like that.
yeah. I mean, I seen him get in fight with kids where a kid would hit him, and he would just haul off and knock the kid right out.
You can't do that nowadays.
You can't do that these days, no anymore. But I mean, again, it was a fight.
So what was your first gun?
Well, my first gun was a muzzleloader. Okay, so again, he laid the rules down to me. This is what you can do in class. You can't. No live ammo, none of this stuff. But you can build guns in here if you want. Okay, so my first one was a Hawken muzzleloader, which was a Thompson Center kit. Okay, because I just wanted to learn the basics. Yeah. So I built that, but again, he would make me do things like not use any screws. So like where you put the ramrod in, the eyelets and everything, where most kits you just screw it together. Okay, I'm done, put some varnish on it, go shoot it. No. Okay, you had to hand file all the eyelets in. You had a German silver solder everything together, tin both sides, wire everything, resolder it. So he would make me do things certain ways. And if I didn't do it his way, you didn't participate in
Do you
class.
still have those ways today?
In a lot of ways, yeah. It's like, we have more modern equipment. I'm not sitting there with a file on everything. we do file a lot of parts and still hand fit things.
Oh, I've seen you down there doing that.
Safeties and, sights, everything else. But, now we have more CNC equipment and things like that because we're running more production, and not just doing just one-offs all the time. So, but then, like my uncle gave me a 6.5 Jap from World War II. Okay. And I converted that to go shoot woodchucks at my uncle's farm. So again,
Poor woodchucks.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Kish would let me bring it in, cut the stock, rebuild a stock for that one. Bent the bolt on it, do all that stuff. So he was really good about that. And again, it was commonplace to see Bob, walking through the high school with a gun case all the time. And no one got shot, no one got angry.
So the gun didn't jump out of the case all by itself and start?
No crazy things like that. And
did anybody pick on you in school at all?
No.
You were the man, the myth, the legend back then, too, right?
No, not really. I actually, in high school...
Hadn't quite gotten there yet.
I got class flirt in high school.
Yeah, I could see that.
Imagine that. I'm shocked.
I could see the way you're sitting here now with Lindsey.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. Class flirt.
So how about your first handgun?
That I shot or that I owned?
That you owned.
Okay, it was a Smith & Wesson Model 27. And it
Okay.
was an old pin model. That was one of the biggest things. As soon as I turned 21... in New Jersey, you had to get a purchaser's ID card. Remember
Yeah, you had to go to the police department, go to the chief, get the permit to purchase a gun.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I can give you nightmare stories about that.
It's crazy, and
I was on the job and I had a nightmare.
Yeah. Even as a police officer, you have to go through all this garbage. I mean, it's crazy. But I was 18. As soon as I turned 18. I didn't even celebrate my birthday. I went right to the sheriff's department. I actually was town cop because my mother was town clerk and knew the.
We had a kid come in the shop the other day, turned 21 before he even went out and got an alcoholic beverage or anything like that. He came here to buy a gun.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We've got another one doing it this weekend.
We got another one coming in.
And that was a big thing for me because I was so into it. And actually, it was strange because my father never owned a handgun. So I had no handguns in the house. I didn't know much about
I
them.
grew up in a household, no guns, no anything. It was taboo where we were from in Jersey. I was more central Jersey, Trenton area.
Yeah,
Nobody had a gun.
We were northern.
Not until I got on the job, they issued me my first gun I ever touched.
Well, Trenton, only the crooks would have the guns.
This is true. They were cheaper if you bought them off the street corner and still brand new.
Yeah.
And they make you a deal, get a free box of ammo for $50.
And I grew up in a hunting family.
What was your first gun, Lindsey?
My first gun? Goodness gracious. I think it was a Springfield.
When did you get that?
Years and years ago.
How long ago? She won't tell me.
But
She'll know her
10
age.
years ago, pistol, handgun, XD. It was a big
Well,
Good
quantity.
gun.
That's not too long ago. Then.
I like the XDs. Now they got the XDMs, and now they have
Mhm.
The XDM, the XDM.
the XD Mod 2s. They're all good guns.
Yes. Springfield is good.
That's one of the things. Now, when I got my first gun, they issued it to me. It was a Glock. So it's a polymer gun or plastic gun, whatever you want to call it. It took me a while to get to my first 1911. I think I had to mature to get to a 1911.
But once you shoot a 1911,
Bingo.
you don't go back.
Well,
Bingo.
it's different. Like you say, you have more trigger control. The grip angle is just more natural for your pointing and sighting. So there's a lot to the 1911, and a lot of people don't understand it until they actually cut their teeth on it. I mean, my first experiences with the 1911 really weren't until I moved to upstate New York, and I moved to upstate New York for a job with IBM as a journeyman toolmaker. And I got in with a bunch of old Vietnam vets because they knew I liked to shoot and tinker with guns and everything. And these guys shot bullseye, and they were so anal. They had special diets. They casted their own bullets. They weighed every round.
I've seen that competition.
Yeah.
It's kind of not for me.
No, I mean the competition itself. I learned a lot, and I learned a lot on how they tune the guns, and because when you look at the 1911 and how long it's been out there, they started. I mean, it's before before 1900. It was actually started to be developed, and 1905 is when you started seeing some models start to appear, and then 1911 was when basically Colt and took the patent over and started actually manufacturing them. In a production sense, but when you look at all the different companies that make the 1911 and all the different sizes and attributes to the guns and tolerances, that's what really makes a talented gunsmith, I think, because there's so many variables when you pick up a Springfield or you pick up a Colt or you pick up some of the newer 1911s aren't really 1911s. Like, they have external extractors
you were explaining that to me. It's pretty.
They have, like even the 80 series or some of the firing pin block systems. I don't like them, and most of the target shooting guys and even action shooting guys, if they know what they're doing and they're good shooters, they don't want them.
Because all yours are Series 70.
Yes.
And that's because we get the guys that come in. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah. The guys that are knowledgeable generally want a 70 series platform. And then you can convert an 80 to a 70, most of them. Some of them you can't, but most of them you can. But yeah, I mean, that was the first time I really started cutting my teeth on 1911s in the tool room with these guys. And I learned an awful lot. I learned an awful lot what would make the guns really work. And again, kind of, all the different things you have to really consider when you're building a 1911, and again, there's production guns and there's mediocre target guns. And then there's, extremely highly accurate 1911s where, like some of the guys I shot with at 100 yards, they'd have no problem hitting you in the head, and at 50 yards, I mean, that's how good a shot these guys were. Now, I never got that good, I mean, I could hold my own but again, to be honest, bullseye after a while bored me because it was, ready on the left, ready on the right,
Yeah.
on the line, and, if you don't fall asleep, start shooting,
I sat there watching the guys shooting at one time. They would shoot one round, take a break for a couple minutes, wait for the barrel to cool down. But when we return, we're going to come back to the Fusions, and when you can probably see the new ones that are getting released, actually maybe put them in your hands, touch them, look at them. Pretty interesting at a cool event. And then we're going to talk about some of the stuff with social media and the guns.
Excellent.
That we're both running into here. So we'll be back in 1 second. And we're back. You're listening to Talking Guns with Joe. Again, I'm here with Lindsey and Bob Serva with Fusion Firearms. You guys still here with me?
Oh, yeah,
We're
we're
here.
here, Joe.
Okay, just making sure. Now, listen, real quick. You have your new guns coming out for your new series.
Yeah. We have the 3 new models coming out in the Freedom series.
Yes, you have the Bantam R.
Yes.
Which is, again, the Colt Commander size one.
No.
No.
Defender.
Defender size.
Yep. Defender, quasi officer.
Everybody knows
it's a
my
micro
feeling.
compact.
You know my feeling on a Colt anyway, so we won't even go there.
We'll have and that gun's set up nice. Again, it will have the top serrations. It's really set up for carry.
Yeah, that's a great gun for concealed carry.
Yes, it'll be a 9 and 45.
Lindsey, maybe that's one you should get.
I was thinking I might have to have one of those.
Yes, because
Yeah,
you
work
became a 1911 girl a couple
did.
years ago,
I did. I got one as a gift.
and it wasn't a true 1911. It was
A production model. I mean, it was a
Springfield.
yes.
There's nothing wrong with
No,
Springfield.
fine.
It is. I like it. It was good.
But now we're gonna upgrade you
Yes. Yeah.
to a Fusion. I think the band would be nice.
I kept hearing about a Fusion that was being made.
Yeah, there is a bunch of them being made. If Bob ever gets time to. do you know? Okay, this is going to sound really freaky, but Bob doesn't have a Fusion.
Does Bob talk about himself in third person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason being,
the man, the myth, the legend can talk about himself in
I shoot
third
them
person.
every day. I'm building them for other people every day. Now, the new 7-inch, which I just debuted this week, I'm saving that for myself, okay, because that's been on my bucket list. But
Because
Bob's
sometimes size matters.
exactly. Yeah, a lot of people say that.
It does.
So and
I like them small.
and I'm gonna keep that one because I really it's my first. It's the first 7-inch, and I've always wanted to make that. And I'm
That's the
gonna.
most I've ever seen you shoot a gun, though. I've seen like 3 videos this week of you shooting this thing.
Yeah. And I'm enjoying it, and I tell you,
what it's all about.
it's just a lot of fun. So that was one on my bucket list. I will be making some special guns. Like I've had guns I've built, since the Dan Wesson days, the Wildy days, all that stuff. Okay, I mean I've got closets and closets and closets of guns. So I'm not in like this. And I guess as a gun builder, I enjoy building them even more than I like shooting them. To be totally honest with you, I love the mechanics behind it, and
It's a craft to you.
Exactly, it is a craft to me. And again, for me to say what gun I want, it's just at my fingertips. So I can build anything I want in a 1911.
That's awesome.
So
That would be awesome. I would love to be able to do
And
that.
nobody can do that anymore. That's one of the cool things about you and your product line, your company. It's true American craftsmanship.
and again, it's if you look at basic corporations out there anymore, how many people that run a company actually are hands-on anymore? I mean,
No.
if you call any of the bigger companies, can you talk to anybody, even on like the board? Can you talk to anybody in management?
I think I've called your shop and actually you've answered the phone.
Sure.
calling the
I
general
will
number.
at times,
Yeah.
and again, it's we're a family business. We have our heart and soul in what we're making, and that was one of the reasons for the Freedom Series is to be able to take our craft and make it so it was affordable for people who couldn't afford a $3,000 gun.
And when we're talking affordable, honestly, there are guns that are made in, we're talking about the big mass production lines, right? The quality is not as good, and yet they cost more than your Freedom Series.
Yeah, I agree with you.
We had to separate at the
100%.
shop.
And I'm not just blowing smoke. That's real life.
Lindsey, too, at the shop, we had to separate all the Freedom Series, all the Fusion, from the other 1911s we carried. And right now we don't carry. Some of our manufacturers found out we were carrying your guns and they won't sell to us anymore, which is funny. We won't get into that because they might try to sue me.
When you
But-
have an inferior product, I guess.
Well, it's not just that. It's we're whittling into their. We're I guess as Fusion, okay, we're not following the same footsteps as everybody does. If you look at most firearms manufacturers, they all follow the same footsteps. They all have a 2 or 3 tier distribution network. So you like if you want a Glock and something's really special, you normally don't call Glock. You go to a distributor and buy it.
Yes.
Okay, and the distributor's making money on it, and sometimes,
And that's as a dealer we're talking about.
Right,
So
as
me
a
as a
dealer.
dealer, I
Right.
can't go buy directly from Glock. I got to go to the distributor.
right, exactly. Now you as a dealer you're buying direct from Fusion,
Yeah.
and that's all we'll do. I mean, we've had larger distribution outlets contact us and want to distribute our products, and we won't do it because again, we're making it special for the customer. But guess what? My customer is not just the end user. My customer is the dealer.
Correct.
Okay, so my whole focus on this freedom line to make it successful for everyone, okay, was to make it profitable for the dealer. You know, right now in the industry, dealers are suffering to try to find product that they can really make a decent profit on.
It's tough.
And you have to make profit to keep the lights on. I mean, let's
sure.
be honest.
It's tough
And
right
to pay your employees. I mean,
Oh, yeah, it's a downtime for all the gun industry right now. Most of the manufacturers out there, definitely the dealers, they're not making the money. And when you sell a typical, I'll say, plastic gun, folks, to be honest, you make less than $50 off of it.
Yeah. And a lot of people will come in and try to get a free box of ammo also or something else. And it's like you know, after you've paid shipping to bring it in and everything else,
Pay your employees, your overhead, your electric bill, everything
you're not
else.
really making anything off of it, you know? And
We're here to make friends.
yeah, no, it's not a hobby. Again,
No.
it's again, and that's where we're trying to segregate that, because, you know, we see a lot of that in this industry. It's a hobby driven industry to a lot of people, but there's other people out there that have to make their living from this. And so, you know, Fusion really worked hard to start a dealer network that was just direct with us at Fusion. Yes. And we'll customize things for your shop. You know, we have certain dealers that, you know, every Fusion Freedom that we send them has to have green fiber optic on it, or has to have a different grip or something, because they know what sells for their area. So we do that for them. We custom configure those guns for those areas. Or you can do a full-blown custom off of base Freedom.
Well, we've had them here. They go.
Sure.
They fly off the shelves.
Yeah, well, they fly off shelves, and you also have gotten customers come to you and tell you, like, I want a reaction. I want it with this, you know.
Reaction with a chrome finish.
Chrome finish. I want night sights put on it. I want this pounded trigger. I want that trigger, and I want the Commander hammer that Bob has. And we'll configure that and drop ship to the dealer. And the dealer's, you know, making a good margin off it, the highest in the industry right now. So that's one thing we've really focused on, because we're not going to be the same as everybody else out there. If you look at most of the major companies, you know, me as running a corporation, I look at most of the large companies as going in the wrong direction. Okay, because they're looking at, you know, just basically the bean counting of the business, and that's it. Not what a person actually desires as a product. Okay, they're so detached, I guess, if you want to say, from their customer base. I mean, they might, you know, okay,
True.
Say the defensive customer base, which is pretty easy to satisfy, because they're looking at a certain price and they're just looking to something for home defense. They're not looking for a finely tuned really weapon.
Precision. Yeah.
Right. They're not looking for like the super trigger. They're looking for just, what do I do that I'm going to leave in my house or my glove box, and I'm only going to use it twice a year to go test fire. And,
Yes.
you know, so everybody can easily look at those markets, or they follow each other. Like, you'll see company X come out with polymer this. Well, then company Y comes out with the one very similar.
Who can come out with it cheaper?
Right. And they're all fighting over $5, and that's ridiculous. That is not a recipe for success. So
It's not a gun that's going to last forever.
well, and it cheapens the whole market, frankly.
well, it does, but that's where, if you like the SHOT Show this year, like I was telling you, you know, I've been going for 30 years, and this year was, like, for me, super boring, because all I seen was more running to the bottom. Okay, and
it's a race to the finish.
Yeah.
Or to the bottom right now.
Right. And again, there's so many forces and factors on companies in the firearms industry, not just economically, you know, and we talked about that, you know, with the social networks out there, you know, credit card companies dropping gun companies because they don't want to run your credit card, insurance companies dropping you because you sell guns, we don't want nothing to do with you anymore. So again, you know, it's almost bigotry, if you want to say, in some ways, that, you know, they're looking at you and they're saying, because you're a gun dealer, we're not going to allow these business processes for you. You know, all the modern day business processes, which is your credit card and which is your social networking, or if
social networking is huge for us right now.
Sure.
I mean, nothing against the local papers. Who reads a paper anymore?
Nobody.
Who actually physically gets a paper delivered to their house?
Nobody.
It's all online.
I mean, I delivered papers when I was a kid. That was one of my first jobs. Mm-hmm. You don't get it. You go online for it now.
You go online for the
And now some of these papers are trying to charge you for the online service. But it's granted, they got to make money. They got to pay the reporter somehow.
Right. They're not selling the paper now. They have to make it somewhere else.
So where do we turn to?
Well,
Advertising.
Sure. Well, you got to look at the social networks, but also, what you're saying is also true with even the gun magazines. Most gun magazines right now are broke. I mean,
Yes.
flat broke.
I
Okay?
stopped reading them a long time ago.
Even a lot of the big publishing houses that own, conglomerates of all these magazines are broke. And I know a lot of gun writers that used to be on staff that got paid on staff. No more. They're paid like, okay, you write the article. If we like it, we'll pay you. Other than that, there's nobody's on the payroll anymore. So there's this huge evolution in the industry. And again, we see that print, not just from the gun magazines and newspapers. We see it in pretty much anything that's in print.
Yeah.
Even with advertising, where you used to have people stuff things in your door all the time at home. Now, other than the local pizza shop doing that,
Oh, I like pizza.
now it's all online. Yeah, but you can't have any right now.
I can't have any right now.
We'll get into
You
that
had
in
it
another
for-
show.
Oh.
Joe's diet.
Really threw me under the bus right there, Bob. No, but you're right. We can't advertise like we used to. You can't do the basic mailers, and especially in the area we're in.
Yeah,
Because right now, I think it's like 70% of the occupancy is gone.
Sure.
They're snowbirds.
yep.
But advertising in the newspaper doesn't get you that far. Try to go on TV, you need to have some money. That's expensive.
Yeah, and you're not really sure if it even works.
Yeah. There's ways to tell if it works, if people are coming in the door or not. But I think the number one way of getting our brand out there, our name, or for us, it's a store. Your brand is social media, even YouTube.
Yeah, no, I agree. The YouTube's good. The social media.
Now you have a Facebook page, Fusion
Yeah.
Firearms. You have the
Bob's
YouTube
Bench,
Bob's Bench.
1911 Bob's 1911 Bench on Facebook, and also Robert Serva on Facebook.
Yes.
So we have 3 Facebooks that we run. We do Instagram. Okay, that's been halfway decent, and we're starting now more in depth with the YouTube. We did YouTube quite a bit about a year and a half ago or so, but we were so busy with the move into our new building and the placement of new equipment and processes and everything else that I kind of just dropped it. Now I'm trying to post something, either eye candy or tech, every week.
Eye
now.
candy. I like eye
Yeah.
candy.
Yeah, we try that. We have some really beautiful 1911s, and Joe actually is a great photographer and does a lot of our photography on some of these guns and just really makes them pop. Really does.
Plug. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll pay for that.
Well, you do, Joe. I mean, it's like I thank you for that, man. I mean, it's good to be in a community where we all kind of help each other, and I think that's really great.
Well,
and
right now we got to take care of each other because nobody else will.
exactly.
Nobody's going to help us right now.
Exactly. I
It's
mean,
tough.
there's all types of institutions that won't work with you.
Let's finish this conversation when we get back. We're going to have to take a quick break. When we
Okay.
come back, we'll finish that. Then we'll let people know where they can actually come see these guns before anybody else.
Excellent.
Be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to Talking Guns with Joe. And again, I have Bob Serva here with Fusion Firearms and the lovely Lindsey, a.k.a. Lindsey Gun. As they just threw me under the bus earlier about diets, and that's what they were picking on me on during the break. But we are back, and we keep forgetting where we're going to let people actually see your new guns. But
That's
before
coming
we
up.
do that, if you missed any part of the show, you want to watch it, not live, but watch it afterwards and all that stuff, we can wave now. Hi, guys. You can go right to our Facebook page, Talking Guns with Joe, our YouTube channel, Talking Guns with Joe, Twitter, all of them, or even our website, Talking Guns with Joe, to see this. It'll be pretty cool. You can see how good looking I am and my new hairdo. Bob as well.
I got
And
class
me.
flirt. Remember?
Oh, that's right. And Lindsey. The class flirt over here. Well, listen, on June 9th, I'm going to be over at, along with Aegis Tactical and possibly Fusion Firearms, we're going to be over at the Manly Man Expo at Rossler's Harley Davidson, right here in Sarasota.
Yep, we'll be over there with you.
And I think this is going to be a beautiful time to show people the new Fusion
Riptides.
1911s, the Riptide, Riptide C, and the Bantam.
Yeah, no, it'd be perfect.
And you can go there, put your hands on them. You want to order one, we can get things taken care of for you, so we make sure you get one.
And then if you don't know what we're talking about when we talk about 1911s not being like anything else, then you'll be able to find out.
And what better time can there be? Harleys and guns.
It's a Manly Man
Beautiful
Expo.
thing.
Manly man. That can go both ways.
Yeah, you're right.
It can. So we're going to leave that one alone. But as we were just talking about Facebook pages and all that, and we were talking off air and everything about it, like YouTube, we've seen a drastic decline in
Well, yeah,
views.
I think some of it's due to some of the you know, the actual way they're searching on YouTube and things. You know, I just think that
Is that the algorithms?
yeah,
or whatever?
algorithm. There you go. I was searching for that, but
Don't ask me to spell it.
well, yeah, me neither. But what I'm saying is, you know, like about a year ago, I could type in Fusion and Fusion Firearms would come up.
Yes.
Now I have to type in Fusion Firearms 1911, then we come up. So I think it's almost like they're making it harder to search for gun companies. It just seems that way. Now maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but it just.
I caught something on the news the other day about that in the morning. They were talking about the same thing with all the social media outlets. So I'm going to agree with you. I mean, we did our one video. We never got a ton on YouTube. I'm not a YouTube phenomenon, whatever you want to call it, or guru. But we did well on it. We got a lot of feedback from it and everything else. Then I did my one video shooting a Yeti. And that once, I don't know, it was well over 40,000 people. And then I went down to maybe 8 people looking at my videos.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it just got turned off and nobody can see it unless they have the secret passcode to get to it.
No, I think they make it just harder to find. And you know, I believe maybe, you know, because they look at, okay, say like I said Fusion, somebody types in Fusion to look for Fusion Firearms, or somebody say is looking for Fusion food, okay?
Yeah.
And they type it in and all of a sudden Fusion Firearms pops up. Well, I guess maybe in some sense, maybe YouTube or some other search engine thinks, well, maybe that gun will offend that person. Well, why should it? You know, I mean, it's like move on to the next.
Yeah, if you don't want to see it, just move
Right.
on to the next one.
If you're that easily offended, you've got bigger problems.
Oh yeah, you know, it's so. I mean, but it definitely, they're definitely making changes, so it's harder to even search for you know, gun type items. And you know, like Facebook for a while, you know, we could actually sell some of our parts on Facebook. They actually came to us and wanted us, so we didn't put up much. We just put up some mag wells and some mainspring housings, just some simple little things, attributes, accessory parts, just to see how they would sell. One, they didn't sell very good at all on Facebook.
No.
Okay. And two, now they've come back and rejected all of it, everything.
Yeah, they even rejected my like backpacks and stuff
Really?
that I have on our page.
Yeah, well, I think some of the policies are too, like if you try to sell something that if you click on it and it will take you to a site with a gun on it.
Yes, correct.
Just like Google. We tried to advertise at Google one time.
Nope.
And if they wouldn't allow us to advertise because if you click, even if I say I want to only show my range bags. Okay, well, they'll do the range bags, but if you can click on that link and it takes you to a website that has a gun on it.
Yes.
They will not allow you to use their services.
Oh yeah, it's idiotic if you ask me. They're losing revenue.
Sure.
Because how much money would you and I both spend in pay-per-click ads?
Sure. Oh yeah, definitely.
A lot.
Well, and part of what they were talking about on that news article you were saying is that it won't allow you to do these things, but they won't even tell you why it's not allowing it. I mean, we know why they're not allowing it, but you should be able to click a thing and say, okay, well, you find this offensive for whatever reason. Let me click on this and find out why you find it offensive. But you can't do that. It's just banned.
Correct.
No,
And you don't get to know why.
Last thing I heard is exactly like Bob said from Facebook was because our website went back or our link went back to a website that sold or offered to sell firearms, which we do. We sell firearms.
But that's
on
what
the
you were
website.
told. I mean, the end user that's actually trying to get there, they're not told that.
Yes.
They're just blocked, and they don't know why.
I mean, Facebook, they even sent me a thing recently that I'm up to a certain level now because so many people have been talking about our page and everything like that. I still can't advertise.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't even pay to you can't pay Facebook to advertise your stuff. Facebook now loses money.
Yeah.
Because they're restricting
I
firearms.
can't even get likes now. Any more likes?
Well, and again, this is all the advertising media that's out there now. I mean, you know, as we just discussed previously here, all the print media is pretty much dead. I mean, it's dead or dying. Okay,
Yeah, everything's online now.
Everything's online, and you know your big monsters out there are your Facebooks and your Googles and you know all that. Your forums, even the forums. The forums have really dropped off a lot because the forums have not kept up. You know, like most of the forums, you can't really post videos within your text and stuff like that. You can put links, but there's no like, you know, static videos.
And some of them just made it hard to get onto. I mean, different passwords for every little thing that you went on to, the different threads, and somebody yelling at you because he asked a question that's been asked before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
I've been kicked off most of them.
Well, that's because a lot of the moderators are not really, moderators on a lot of forums are not truly educated monitors. They're just like junkies that hang out on those forums. So
Probably don't have jobs, sit around online all day. Yeah.
And
Most people hang
and
out
it
here,
becomes
too.
their passion to monitor something they're not really sure they know much about, so it does tick other people off and they don't want to go there anymore, So, but in any event, the big ones that are out there, your Facebook, your YouTubes, your Instagram, your Twitters.
If somebody's out there and has a lot of technical background for this IT stuff, make PewTube.
Yeah. Well,
make a Facebook page for.
There is. It's not Facebook, but there's. There's some people have tried that actually. That United Gun Group tried that, and
sure, it's tough and expensive.
Well, it's that, and again, it's how do I say it? It's like you gotta make sure that when you're making something like a forum or something of that nature, everybody has their own separate identity, but you corral them into certain areas. Like United Gun Group was actually quite good for a while, but then they allowed like so many people to put all these like little different blog sites and everything on there, and you might have 1,300 different blogs on there, and they all have 4 people in it. Yeah. Because it's your 4 buddies, and but nobody really interacts.
No, what was it like? What was the other one? Auction Armory.
Well, I'm not so sure if they had I think they
had something with the different blogs. Everybody went off in their own little groups, and
and it just becomes a clique, and you're always you're always preaching to the same choir, and also again you're seeing I guess in a lot of social media is saturation, I think, in a lot of things. And not so much saturation just in the guns, but in all social media. Like, one of the things I think I told you a couple months ago, they were talking about Facebook and the drop off of participation at Facebook, which was huge. It was, like 40% people are just not coming back and participating.
No.
And they might be able to say, oh, geez, we still have, 300 million people or whatever on this section of it. Well, yeah, but there's only 100,000 of them participating. What happened to everybody else?
Yeah, you need people participating. There's a lot of sites like that. They have 11,000 members, only 100 people are active, which is still fine.
Yeah. Well, no, it is. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just what I'm saying is, as they add more advertising, and a lot of it's not pertinent to what you're interested in. Like us. We're interested in the outdoor stuff. We're interested in the gun items and that. They won't allow you to advertise that, but they'll advertise T-shirts and shoes and sandals. And guess what? I'm not interested in that. I
do a lot with the photography end of it, so I see a lot of that fun stuff. That's why I like Instagram.
Yep.
I just like looking at pictures. I'm weird.
Well, picture says 1,000 words. Man.
It does. 1,000 words, and I'm done.
And if you're a slow reader like I am,
we are from Jersey.
We didn't take English.
Jerseynese. What were you saying, Lindsay?
I feel like we took a travel down the timeline of what formed Bob into the man he is today, actually.
We're going to have to bring Bob back on.
First it was his father, and then it was the high school teacher, and then it was the vets, and now you are here.
Yes.
And now I'm going to form
with Fusion.
Yeah, with Fusion. And there's a lot of things during there I can fill in with.
We're going to have to finish them. Listen, I'm going to go over a couple cool things we got coming up, a couple free events, and everybody out there loves free. It's my motto. If it's free, it's for me. But on June 9th, as well as the Manly Man event, but that's happening at Harley-Davidson. Over the Age of Tactical, you can do the How to Clean Your Gun 101. It's the right way to learn how to clean your gun, inspect it, put it back together, and do a function check so your gun, you know how it works, and it's not going to cost you a ton of money because, A, the class is free, and you don't need to bring much with you. We are bringing back the Don't Panic class because hurricanes are coming back to town. It's hurricane season. They're saying it's going to be a rough one this year.
Oh, goody.
So we actually have like emergency management people coming in, everything else. That's going to be on June 23rd. That's at 1 p.m. Again, you got to sign up for it. Go to our Facebook page. You'll see the link. Sign up for it. And then we're going to do the kids class again. Because I don't know, Bob, did you know we did a class for kids teaching about guns?
Yeah, you were telling me something about that. Yep, sounded interesting.
It was. Even the NRA is looking at it now. It's we're going to do it again, but this time we're going to separate the age groups. I think we're going to go like up to 10 and 10 to 18.
Right. That would be more appropriate, yeah.
Because there was a couple things we had to hold back on certain things we said because there was a bunch of 5-year-olds in the class and a few 16, 17-year-olds.
Yeah.
But Bob, I appreciate